But I'm just saying, these are the kind of questions that everybody throws in there. So I look at the list, and I'm like, it's one of the rare, but I don't have a definitive opinion. I have to sit up here like, good God, I got to think about this. This is driving me crazy. So I had a vote on that 75 team, because I had a vote. They told me to pick the top 75 players. They didn't tell me to put it in order. Okay. So I never put it in order. And I got to think about it. Because that's how hard it is. I honestly can't make up my mind.
At the heart of this, of the GOAT debate, is a fundamental question. When we evaluate these great players, we know that some players won more than others. So then it begs the question, well, how much help did the player have? And that's what makes it difficult. And so the argument is that some players were clearly superior, but did not have the opportunity to win as much as other players because they didn't have enough help. Okay, and the player that used to make this argument literally himself, and the player of whom this argument typically applies is Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain's argument was that he is clearly the greatest player in NBA history, borne out by his statistical accomplishments. So even though he was a better player than Bill Russell, he could score 100 points, 50 points a game, he didn't have a chance. To win championships because, the Celtics just had such an amazing team. Like they got eight Hall of Famers. Bill Russell had so much help. So, I went and looked at his teammates. And turns out that while Bill Russell did play with more talent, wasn't a hell of a lot more talent, and I might even argue that Bill Russell didn't play with anyone as talented as probably 3 of Wilt Chamberlain's teammates, maybe 4. Wilt Chamberlain benefited from a total of 20 seasons wherein a Hall of Fame teammate of his went to the All-Star game. Let me say that one more again. He benefited from 20 seasons wherein a teammate who would become a Hall of Famer was an All-Star that year. So in other words, a Hall of Famer in his prime. Okay. Now, you've got an argument out there that says that just because a guy goes to the All-Star game, that doesn't necessarily mean they're in their prime, but that's subject for another video. But just for the sake of argument, and for the purposes of this video, I'm going to treat appearance in the All-Star game as a player being certainly still one of the best players in the league. Okay? So, Wilt Chamberlain benefited from 20. Bill Russell benefited from 26. Okay? So Bill Russell had a little bit more help than Wilt Chamberlain. But Bill Russell got 11 championships. Wilt Chamberlain got 2. Okay? Late in Wilt Chamberlain's career, Wilt Chamberlain played with both Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. I'm not so sure any of Bill Russell's teammates rank as high as Jerry West or Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor is generally considered to be one of the best players to never win a championship. He technically did win one, but that was after he had retired. I think he retired mid-season, and he did get a ring for that last year. But when we talk about the great players that didn't win championships, Elgin Baylor is at the top of that list. And when we talk about great players that only won one, Jerry West, to this day, Jerry West is arguably top 3 two guard in all time. Arguably, you could, very strong argument that right behind Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, Jerry West is the greatest two guard of all time. Okay? So I attempted to try to figure out if there was an objective way to evaluate talent that a great played with, and try to see if there was a way to really quantify not just how much talent the player played with, but what they did with it, and come up with an output that would reflect just how much talent a particular player played with and what they did with it. So here I have listed some of the greats in NBA history. A couple of these players, a few of these players don't really belong on this list. They just really belong on the list as a point of comparison. Okay? So, obviously, when we talk about Michael Jordan, Kobe, Bill Russell, Kareem, LeBron, we're talking about the greatest players in NBA history. And then as a point of comparison, I also included Pau Gasol. I included Scottie Pippen. I'm very high on Scottie Pippen's ranking all time, but he's certainly not in the top 10 all time. So I've got these names listed, and what I did was I listed the number of seasons wherein they played with a Hall of Famer in his prime. Okay? So that's the number of seasons that they played with a Hall of Famer in his prime. Okay, where they selected as an all-star that year. So, player, this is a Hall of Famer, or generally considered to be a future Hall of Famer. Like, for instance, I included Kyrie Irving, generally considered to be a Hall of Famer. I did not include, let's say, Shaq's season with Cleveland, because he wasn't an all-star during those seasons. And so I went through with each player, and I looked at their teammates, and I tried to discover how many seasons wherein they enjoyed or played with another Hall of Famer that went to the All-Star game that year, was selected as an All-Star, whether they played in the game or not, but they were selected the All-Star team. And then I divided the two numbers. Okay?
So obviously, the best number on this list is Michael Jordan. So 6 titles, 7 seasons, okay, wherein teammates went to the All-Star game.
I believe this is all of Scottie Pippen's All-Star seasons, minus the 1994 season, but including the 1995 season in which Michael played. And I also included the 1991 season, even though Scottie was not selected to the All-Star season. The reason is because he clearly was in his prime. He just wasn't one of the, 4 or 5 forwards selected. But he had been selected the year before, and he was obviously selected the year after. So I included that 1991 season. That was the first Bulls championship season. So I included that because it's a different scenario than, let's say, Shaq, who obviously had faded during his Cavalier seasons and was no longer an all-star caliber player. I included Scottie. I think that was hangover from the headache game. And I think Scottie got punished for not being able to play in that 1990 Game 7. But he was clear. I mean, he all of his numbers went increased from 1990 to 1991. So he was clearly an all-star, all NBA caliber player in 1991. And obviously the rest is history.
The thing that I want this list to point out is that Scottie Pippen, if you put him on this list, has the second best number.
But put a pin in that point. Just set that to the side for a second. Okay? Here is Kobe's number, teammates. You have 8 seasons with Shaquille O'Neal, 3 seasons with Pau Gasol, and 1 with Dwight Howard, so a total of 12. Kobe Bryant needed just 2.4 Hall of Fame prime seasons to win a championship. A better number than that of Bill Russell. Bill Russell, 26 such seasons, 11 championships, 2.54 average, if you will. Kobe, 12 Hall of Fame seasons, 5 championships. Okay? So the 2 people that have a better number than Kobe were teammates. Okay? Talking about teammates, let's talk about Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol needed 12 Hall of Fame seasons to get his 2 championships. Okay? So he needed 6 Hall of Fame seasons for every championship he won. Shaquille O'Neal needed 15 Hall of Fame seasons to get his 4 championships. So, Tim Duncan needed 14 Hall of Fame seasons to get his 5 championships. And at the end, I included that final season, I included LaMarcus Aldridge, who I believe will make the Hall of Fame. That was a little dicey. We know Kawhi Leonard will. But even if you take LaMarcus Aldridge off, he still had 13, okay, compared to Kobe's 12. Talking about Hall of Fame seasons. They both ended up with 5 championships. Tim Duncan needed a little bit more help. And the reason is because he wasn't as good an offensive player as Kobe was.